Hello friends, welcome to my channel. This is Charan. In this tutorial, I will show you how to create a custom user registration form in Python using Django web framework with MySQL phpmyadmin database. And here we got our index.html page, which is the home page of our project. The header tags and the user registration form. Let's enter the details. The username is Charan. If I don't enter any values and I click submit, so notice here we got an error message. So let's add at gmail.com and the password is 123 and the repassword I'm adding the different one. So here if you notice the password and repassword is not matching. If I click submit, so here we got a message, please match the requested format. So 123 and the marital status is married. Click mail, submit. So here we got a message, new user registration details saved successfully. And we check in our database. So here we got the Charan details has been successfully saved. And now let's enter the another user details. This time I'm adding Ben at yahoo.com and the password is 123. The marital status is unmarried and the gender I'm selecting female. Click submit and the Ben details has been successfully saved. Let's check in our database table, new user reg. Let's browse the table. See here we got the Ben details. The username is Ben, email ID is ben@yahoo.com, the password is 123. Marital status I have selected unmarried and the gender I have chosen female.
If you are a first time visitor to my channel, please subscribe to get the latest updates.
Before writing the coding part in Python to create the new user registration form, first we'll create a new table in phpmyadmin database. I'm creating a new table in sampledb database. Let's select the sampledb database. And these are the tables contains in this sampledb database. Let's create a new table. Click SQL tab. I'm writing a query to create a table. Create table. New user reg is my user name, and after that I'm adding the column names ID, which is an integer type. I'm adding primary key and auto generate column and auto increment column, comma, and the second one is user name uname, which is a varchar 100. The next one is the user email varchar 100 and the next column is the password pwd varchar 100 and the next column I'm adding the marital status is varchar 100 and the last one is a gender. I'm adding the char type. Let's create the table. Click go and here we got a message, the table has been created successfully. Let's check in the tables. Here we got the new user registration. Let's browse the table and here we got the results of this newly created table, new user reg. Right now this table contains 0 rows. Now let's write some code in Python to enter some new user registration details into this table. First, let's create a new folder to create our new application, Django application. I'm creating a new folder in this local disk D drive. Right click the mouse, new. I'm selecting the folder, and the application name is the registration. Sorry, this is the folder name, registration. Right now, this registration folder contains empty. Now, let's add a new project into this folder in Django Web Framework. I'm using Visual Studio Code to write the Python programming. First, we'll add the folder which we have created. Go to File, open folder. The folder I have created in this D drive, the folder name is the registration. Select that one, select folder. And notice at the left side panel in the Explorer, we got the registration folder is added, which contains the empty files. See? On the right side, we got the welcome page. Let's close this welcome page. Now let's create a new application, Django application in this registration folder. Go to View, select the terminal. Now in the command prompt, notice the D drive registration, which is our folder name. Now I'm creating a project in this folder, Django -admin stock project, and my project name is reg user is my project name. Click enter, and notice the reg user project has been successfully created. Let me expand this folder, and there is a subfolder contains reg user, and below that one Python file which is a manage.py. Let me expand this reg user, which is a subfolder of this project. Let me expand that one, and notice in this folder there is some default Python files, URL, settings, ASGI, and these all files are automatically created when I create this project reg user. Now after creating the project, the next step, when we want to render the HTML file, first we require the HTML templates folder. So select the project name reg user, right click the mouse, new folder. The folder name is the templates. Now in these templates, I'm adding the HTML pages. Right click the templates folder, click new file. File name is index.html. And here we got our index.html page. Let's add some HTML file code, doc type. Let's close this one. Doc type, HTML, header section. I'm adding the title. The title is a new user registration form. And after that, below the headers, I'm adding the body tag, and inside the body, I'm adding the headers h1, how to create a user, new user registration, new user registration form. H2 tag, let's add the H4 tag. Python Django web tutorials. And after the header tags, I'm adding the horizontal line, and after the horizontal line, I'm adding the table element. Inside the table element, I'm adding the attribute called border is equals to 1. Now inside this table headers, I'm adding the tr, the table rows, td, table data. The first one, in our table we have ID is an auto generate column, so I'm not adding. So username, let's copy this one. So I'm adding this username td input type is equals to text and placeholder, enter username. I'm closing the HTML input element. Let's close this one. The next td email, the second column name is td. So instead of adding this one, let's copy this one and paste here. We'll change the type, I'm adding the email, enter email, the placeholder is. Copy this one, tr. The next column names, the password, the type is a password, enter password, and the label I am adding the password. And the second one is the repassword, and the email, instead of email I am adding the password, enter the repassword. tr, another tr. The next one is the marital status. Here is the marital status. The input type, I'm adding the marital status is a select drop down element. So instead of input element, I'm adding select tags. Select and the select tag, I'm adding the option sub element marital status. Marital status is the label name of the drop down list. The option selected disabled is equals to true, t small t. And the next option, I'm adding the marital status is married, option unmarried, and the next one is a widow. Let's add another tr, copy this one and paste here. The last column we have is a gender. The gender element, the controls, I'm adding the radio button controls. So the type, instead of text box, I'm adding the radio. We don't require the placeholder here, so I'm deleting that one. And the value is equals to male, and here I'm adding male. So another gender I'm adding is a female. Instead of M, I'm adding F, female. That's it. We have added our column names. Then after the table, I'm adding the horizontal line, and after the horizontal line, I'm adding a simple button control, submit button control. Input type is equals to submit, and the value of the button control I'm adding submit is the button control name. name. That's it. We have added a simple registration form. Let's save this file. Save all. Now after adding the HTML table, now after index.html, now we'll add the models Python page. Now the next step we'll add the models page, the Python page. Select the subfolder of reg user, right click the mouse. I'm selecting new file, models.py, enter, and here we got the models.py. So first I'm adding from django.db, I'm importing the class name models. So in this models class, I'm defining a class which is a user reg is my class name, and models.model, M is a capital, colon, and in this class I'm just defining the properties and my table name. The properties I'm defining in our table, we have 6 columns. The ID column is the auto generated column, so I'm not adding. So let's create a property for this uname. Copy uname is equals to models dot char field, the data type, max length underscore length length is equals to 100. Let's copy this one, paste here. The next column name, user email, copy this one and paste here. Password, marital status, and the last one is the gender. So after adding the properties, next we'll add another class. The class is a meta class, colon. In this meta class, we'll define our table name. Table is equals to, between double quotes, our table name is a new user reg. Copy this one and paste here. That's it. In this models page, we have defined the properties and the table name. Let's save this file, save all. Now we require the views page to call this models page. Again, select the subfolder called reg user, right click the mouse, new file, and the file name is a views.py, enter. Now in this views page, we'll add the render class from django.shortcuts import. I'm importing the render class. So this render class, when we want to render these HTML files, we require this render, and that's why I have imported. Next we have to import these models. So this models folder is my project, is in my project, so I'm adding the reg user.models. In this models page, I'm adding the class is user reg. Let's add that one, and after that let's define the function user registration. This is the function name. I'm requesting it will take the parameter if request dot the method. I'm requesting the method double equals to post colon, and then the next if condition, the request dot post dot get method, and this get method between single quotes I'm adding the username, the attribute names, uname, and the second request, the column name, paste here. The instead of uname, I'm adding email, and the third parameter is a password pwd. So the next column name is marital status. Copy that one and paste here. And the last one is a gender. Let's copy this one and paste here. Let's delete this and add the column. After if condition, the next I will define one variable save record is equals to, I want to save record the user range. Now let's add the properties. Save record is equals to dot uname is equals to request dot post dot get method. In this get method I'm adding the uname. Now here let's copy this uname in the index.html. Go to the text box username. In the text box control, add the property name is equals to, between double quotes I'm adding this uname, and the email name is equals to, between double quotes we'll add in the views. Let's copy this one, paste here. And the second property is the user email. Copy this one here, paste here, and in the views user email. Now the pwd, copy this one, paste here and paste pwd, the password. The next one is the marital status. Copy this one, marital status, and we have to add the property also, marital status. And the last one I'm adding the gender. Copy that one, gender, and this one also gender. So once we enter the records, the user details, I want to save those records. So save record.save method. After save the records, I want to display the message on the index.html page. So for that we require one more class from django.contrib import messages class. Here messages.success method. In this success method, the first parameter I'm adding the request. I'm requesting record user details, new user registration details, and details saved successfully. And this is a message I want to display in this index.html page after the record has been saved successfully. So once the record has been saved, I want to redirect. So this function return render the page request. I'm requesting the page between single quotes. The page name is index.html. This page I want to display index.html, and else part, else return, copy this one and paste it. That's it. We have added the coding part in this views page. Let's save this file. Save all. After that, we need to configure the URL. Let's open the urls.py, and notice in the urls.py there is a default code which contains the path is admin in the URL patterns, which I don't require. So my path name is path between single quotes. So this is my home page of my project, and the file name we are getting from this views page, views dot. So before that, let's import the namespace. From dot import, I'm adding the views page. Now in the views dot, I'm adding this function name. Copy that one and paste here. Next, we need to configure our database settings and the application settings. So those settings we need to configure in the settings.py. Open that one. Now in the settings.py, come to the bottom and notice in the application definition, which is the installed apps, first we need to add our application name, which is the reg user. I'm adding my project name here in this install underscore apps. After that, come to the templates section. In this template section, notice the second one attribute is the directories. In these directories, we need to add the base directory. So os.path. It's not password, it's a path dot a join method. And this join method takes two parameters. The first one is a base directory underscore dir, comma, and the base directory is the templates. Second one is the templates, this folder. Now the database sections, and notice in the databases the default database is a SQLite 3, which I don't require. Our database is MySQL, and the name, delete this default code. In the name, we need to add our MySQL database name. So our database name is a sample DB. Let's add that one, sample DB. The next one is a user. The user name is root, comma, and the password, colon, comma, between single quotes, username, password, and the host name also we require. Host, colon, the host name is a local host, comma, between single quotes, the port number, colon, 3306. If you don't know the port number, let's check here. The port number is the 3306 for MySQL. And the last one is the options, colon. Now between these curly braces, I am adding the init underscore command, colon, double quotes. I'm setting SQL underscore mode is equals to between single quotes strict, put in the capital letters, strict underscore trans underscore tables. That's it. We have configured the database also in this settings.py. Let's save this file. Save all. Now the final step. Let's open index.html. In the body of the horizontal line, I am adding the form tag, the form method. The method is post. I am posting the data. So let's close this form tag. I am adding this form tag after the button control. Then the most important, after the form tag, I am adding one special token, which is a CSRF token. So when we are posting data in Python, the data must be the secured way. So the CSRF underscore token, it protects our data from the hackers. So let's add that one. Curly braces, percentage, CSRF underscore token. Remember, when we want to post data, we must add this token, otherwise we'll get an error. After we adding this CSRF token, next, notice here I have added the password and repassword. So let's add some validation here. The first one, for the user email username, I'm adding the required, and here also the email I'm adding the required, and the password also required. Here I'm adding the on change event. Now in this on change event, I'm comparing the password and repassword, and here I'm adding form dot. Let's add the name here. Name for the read password between double quotes VPWD, and add this read password here dot pattern. The pattern must match the password and repassword, so is equals to this dot value. And I'm adding the name is equals to, here the name we need to add the PWD, these ones, PWD, and the select name is equals to between double quotes use marital status, copy this one, paste here, and the gender name is equals to as a gender, copy this one and paste here. And for the female radio button also, name is equals to gender. In the read password, I'm adding the pattern is empty, and this one also required. That's it. We have added a simple, the password and repassword, both values must be same. It's a simple validation I have added in the onChange event. Now the next step, once the data is saved, I want to display this message. So for that, after the button control, I'm adding curly braces percentage if I'm adding the messages class, because if you notice in the views.py, the label I want to display the new user registration details saved successfully is in the messages class. So that's the reason I have added the messages, and we need to close this endf, and if again to display the results, I'm adding for loop for percentage result is a variable in messages. let's close this and file, and I want to display the message result. Copy this one and paste here. I'm putting this in the h3 tag, and I'm putting this message in the bold tag. Let's close this bold tag. Style is equals to color is green. That's it, we have done the complete coding part. Let's save this file. Save all. Now let's run the server to check the output part. The most important, when we run the server, we need to install the MySQL package. Pip install, make sure that first let's add this reg user cd. Reg user is my project name. Now pip install MySQL client. Enter. And notice we got a message, the requirement already satisfied, which means the package MySQL client package has been successfully installed into our project. Now let's run the server. To run the server, we need to add the Python manage.py, this Python file name. Now add the run server. Enter. And notice the system checker identified no issues, so we don't have any issues in this project, and this is our web server. Click the control and mouse click. And here we got our index.html page, which is the home page of our project. The header tags and the user registration form. Let's enter the details. The username is Charan. If I don't enter any values and I click submit, so notice here we got an error message. So let's add at gmail.com, and the password is 123, and the repassword I'm adding the different one. So here if you notice the password and repassword is not matching. If I click submit, so here we got a message, please match the requested format. So 123, and the marital status is married. Click mail, submit. So here we got a message, new user registration details saved successfully. And we check in our database. So here we got the Charan details has been successfully saved. And now let's enter the another user details. This time I'm adding Ben at yahoo.com, and the password is 123. The marital status is unmarried, and the gender I'm selecting female. Click submit, and the Ben details has been successfully saved. Let's check in our database table, new user reg. Let's browse the table. See here we got the Ben details. The username is Ben, email ID is ben at yahoo.com, the password is 123. Marital status I have selected unmarried, and the gender I have chosen female. That's it. We have created a simple new user custom registration form in Python Django web framework.